Is it already April? And I haven't completed a single resolution. How does this happen? Every year. Hey guys, it's Zoe here. And why is it so hard for us to actually achieve our New Year's resolutions? Every year I sit down, I type up my list. I even started to recently make a list of must-have to-dos, and yet I still don't achieve them. I even look at I write down my New Year's resolutions multiple times. I have them on paper, I have them in my notebook, I have them in my journals, I have them in my notes on my phone, and with the ones on my phone, I open them quite frequently to check them out, make sure that I'm working towards them, and yet I never achieve any of them. Do I set my goals unrealistically high? Do I make too many of them? What is the problem? Maybe that's it. Maybe I just make too many of them. Maybe my goals are just unrealistic. I'm not entirely sure, but I do know that a lot of my resolutions have to do with habits. Even my very basic New Year's resolution of writing a novel requires a habit of consistently writing every day. Otherwise, you're not going to write a novel in one day unless you're Mary Shelley. I find it very difficult to create a habit, let alone 2 or 10 or 31, like how many of my New Year's resolutions I have. When looking at habits, you're either creating habits or you're breaking them, or you're combining it. In order to break a habit, you have to create a new habit. According to healthline.com, it takes approximately 10 weeks to break a habit, or 2.5 months. That's a long time. I don't know where I came up with this idea, but I thought it was 21 days to create and break a habit. It is so much longer than that. No wonder we struggle to actually do our resolutions. We have to have 2.5 months of dedication to a project to actually even get our bodies to do it consistently. Currently, the 2 big habits that I'm working on breaking are biting my nails and drinking Dr. Pepper. For biting my nails, I have spent years to do this. It has been a long endeavor, and I'm finally pretty much there. I mean, check out my nails. They're pretty long. They're not the prettiest right now because I don't have really nail polish on them, but you know what? I'm working towards my goal, and I'm actually beginning to achieve it. Dr. Pepper, on the other hand, is chaotic. Sometimes I want to drink 3 a day. Other times I'm fine without it. No big deal. It's just a mess. It's hard to do. It's hard to break habits. I really don't intend to ever stop drinking Dr. Pepper completely. I know drinking that much sugar isn't good for you, and so I would like to drink more water. So sometimes, in order to break a habit, you actually have to implement a new habit. So in this situation with Dr. Pepper, I need to train myself to, instead of drinking Dr. Pepper, I want to have water, which I have done so many different things to do this. I have downloaded a water app, which I actually really enjoy because it's fun to watch it go down, and I have talked about this water app before in my summer update video, and it's great. I love it. But it is difficult. I'm now drinking Dr. Pepper, and I'm also drinking a lot of water, but I've not stopped drinking Dr. Pepper. So where's that balance? I haven't found it yet, but I will get there eventually. I just have to keep trying. Perseverance, guys. You gotta persevere. I have tried telling myself that I can't have a Dr. Pepper until I drink 1 water bottle, which it sometimes works, but my biggest problem, and in doing research, this is pretty common, it's not that maybe substances are addictive, but the feeling we get with them are addictive. So for me, it's hard for me to say I can't have Dr. Pepper until I have a bottle of water, because I just love that feeling of the first can of Dr. Pepper in the morning, and I'm sipping it, watching YouTube or whatever before I actually get into my day. So I'm addicted to that feeling, not really the Dr. Pepper itself. Although, you know, I do like Dr. Pepper, and that's kind of addictive. So how do we break habits like this? How do we get past that beginning and actually end up breaking that habit that we want to break? Well, start small. You cannot do it cold turkey. I mean, you can if you got good self-restraint, but it's pretty difficult to go cold turkey on a lot of things. So you have to start small. For me, I want to eventually get to the point where I only have like a Dr. Pepper once a week or whatever, just as a treat. There's no way I can do that right now. Like, I just love Dr. Pepper too much. It would be very difficult. So I have to start small. I have to limit myself small. And for water, I can't just say, okay, I need to drink 60 ounces each day, so go for it. I mean, I have done that once in a while, but it's difficult to do that when you're going from, especially if you drink no water, which isn't good. Please drink a bottle of water, people. But if you drink 1 bottle a day, to all of a sudden go to, what would that even be, like 6 water bottles? First of all, you're going to be peeing a lot, but also, that's difficult. And then you're not even really creating a habit. You did it for that one day. You're going to do it for day 2? Probably not. So you have to start small. And how I'm doing that is working with the water. I'm not doing the best at quitting Dr. Pepper yet. But with water, if you looked at my New Year's resolution from 3 years ago, it was probably drink 1 bottle of water. And then the next year it was 2 bottles of water. And now, at this year, I'm at 3 bottles of water. And I am doing it. I'm actually drinking 3 bottles of water a day, which is a huge achievement. And sometimes I even drink 4 bottles of water a day. Who am I? So when you make these small, attainable, reachable goals and you actually achieve them, now you're going to get addicted to that feeling. You're going to enjoy that feeling of actually achieving your goal, and you're more likely to actually implement the goal that you have. When you have these goals that are unrealistic, that you can't actually feasibly achieve, you're going to feel down on yourself. So it's good to have them be smaller and then slowly build up. My best example of implementing this was me with exercising. I've spoken about it in a couple of videos, and I'm not an person who exercises a lot. That was never really me, other than like I enjoyed playing sports in school, but actually setting down the time to exercise, especially going into college, that is difficult. So I started small. I started with 15 minutes, I built up to 30 minutes, and now I'm at an hour. That is insane. But if I just told you, start exercising every day for an hour, you might be like, I don't got time for that. Especially if you're trying to tell yourself to go work out at an actual gym to actually get motivation to not only work out for an hour, but now you have to drive. That drive might be 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back. Now you're looking at an hour and 40 minutes. Whew, that is a lot of time to take out of your day, and to build that habit is difficult. That's why if you want to start exercising, I strongly suggest start at home. What you want to do is start small. Start at 15 minutes a day. If you can't build that habit of exercising 15 minutes a day, probably don't go out and buy a gym membership come your New Year's resolutions next year, because you're probably not going to end up going there. You might, and that will be great, but if you're not doing it at home to start with, you're probably not going to end up going to the gym and seeing it like, oh, I have to drive there, I have to drive back, and I don't want to do it tonight. If you tell yourself it's only this set amount of time, you probably will do the habit. That's a great way to look at it. Tell yourself, how long will this habit take, and now set aside that time and do it. When you put it down in time frames and you actually see it's only 15 minutes to do the exercising, I'll go do it, and then slowly build up. It'll be easier, and you can even do that for like washing the dishes. You want to start washing the dishes more often. Tell yourself, okay, it's going to take this amount of time, and then start doing it. By starting small, it doesn't feel overwhelming. It feels like you can actually achieve it, and you're more likely to do the habit that you're wanting to build. It can be very difficult creating a habit, breaking a habit, and it's important to not get discouraged. I go in and out of waves with exercising. I'm sitting here talking like I exercise an hour every day, but sometimes I don't. Sometimes I only do it 15 minutes. Sometimes I don't even do it at all. But I don't get down on myself, because if I did, I would be more unlikely not to actually go and do it. So don't get discouraged, persevere, start small, and in 2.5 months, hopefully, you'll have broken that habit or created the habit you want. Also, don't try to do a bunch of habits all at once. I think that would be too overwhelming. Don't feel like you have to do 20 new resolution habits all at once. Like, for me, trying to implement Dr. Pepper, water, and exercising, not too hard. If I'm trying to pile on a whole bunch of stuff, then it gets overwhelming and I'm not going to have enough time in the day. So I listened to this podcast, Organized 365, and she has talked about how have hopeful to-dos and tell yourself to do one a day, or maybe even not a day, but don't overdo yourself. Like, don't force yourself to do 3. Just focus on one habit, and then once you actually get that down, jump to the other one. Don't give up, keep pushing, and achieve your habit. So, what habits are you trying to break? What are you trying to create? What are you doing to achieve those goals? Please let me know down in the comments below. That's all for this video. Until next video, stay totally awesome.
Zoe!